Hey guys, in this video I wanted to share with you how to use the Parabolic SAR, which stands for Stop and Reverse Indicator, to help with your trading. It's an indicator that comes built in with almost every platform out there, and its default settings are as follow here. Okay, I'm going to leave it to the default settings, and as you can already see, there are dots printed below and above price. The general rule of thumb is that when the dots are below the price, it's telling us that it's in an uptrend, and likewise, if it's above prices, it's a downtrend. I wanted to show you guys how I personally use the SAR as a trigger to get me into a trade, okay? And that could be for different market phases, for breakouts, for continuation, or for reversals. Let's have a look at some examples here of how we can use the SAR for breakout trading. Let's talk about this particular range here. We have a ceiling here. You could either draw a horizontal line, or if you prefer a trend line, there's nothing wrong with that. We have a consolidation phase after a period of downtrend. And for example's sake, let's say we're trying to attempt to go along here, okay, at the breakout of this range. What you can do, as opposed to waiting for a trendline break, is to enter when this little dot here appears. Okay, this dot here in the bottom will appear as soon as prices touches the bottom. This little dot here will appear as soon as price hits an upper dot. Okay, and when the candle finally closes, then it prints. So initially at this candle close, there still is an upper dot printed here, and as soon as price hits it, this prints in the bottom. Okay, you could immediately enter a long or wait for it to close and enter as the second dot appears to go for a long. This is how I like to use the SAR for a breakout trade. Yes, it's not a perfect indicator. If you had seen a buy signal here and you had entered a long as soon as this candle touches the upper dot, you would probably be stopped out. Okay, it's a false signal. More often than not, you still have to do your analysis. You cannot just take and trade the dots blindly. So what you have to do is first spot the range, and as soon as you anticipate a breakout one way or the other, you wait for the SAR to appear to tell you when to pull the trigger. Okay? If you had used a trendline break method, you would have entered a little later here. If you had used the SAR, you could get a better entry. Why do I prefer using the SAR at times compared to using a trendline break? Because drawing trend lines are a subjective thing, right? Some people would draw it like this. Some would prefer drawing it horizontally, and that's not wrong to say, okay? So there are many ways to draw, or if you had seen something different, you may choose to draw a steeper line like that. It's all valid, guys, okay? But with the SAR, it's objective, okay? You trade when it tells you to. Now, let's take a look at a continuation trade here. And you can see here there is a line of support turn into resistance. Okay, now we all know that old support usually becomes future resistance. And this is a classic trend pullback trade into a level at play, and we're expecting a continuation to happen to the downside. Okay, so we have another pattern here that formed. It's a triangle. There are a couple ways you could enter into a short here. You could immediately place a short here, nothing wrong with that, okay, and be the first to enter. And as you can see, it needed more time for prices and for buyers and sellers to pile up, okay, before it heads one way. So what it does is that if you had entered here, you could probably made some pips on the way down, but it made another push to the upside, piercing through it, formed a fake out here. It's a fake breakout essentially. This would induce people to think that it's going to go up, okay, but instead it headed down. Now in this case, using a parabolic SAR sell is very helpful to tell us when is the right time to enter into a short. And of course, you have the option of using a trendline break as well. So if you're someone who wants to see some confirmation of price, okay, we don't want to be the first to jump into a sell here or sell here. We want to see price going our way before jumping in. Going into a short, taking a short here is perfect. It also coincides with this trendline break. Okay, it's a very clean and good signal here. And you can place a stop loss here and target somewhere below at previous support. Okay, what I like to do with the SAR is also trail my stop loss as it goes in my favor. And again, this is not perfect. You may have gotten stopped out here, or if you had placed it a little loosely, you could trail it all the way down here. Okay, you could trail it at the last dot or the second last dot. That's how I usually do it for trailing with the SAR. Now another example would be for a reversal trade. Okay, we'll keep the same line on the chart here, but what we have here, this is essentially a fake move up. It's this guy here. And it's really hard to pull a sell here, guys. Okay, I myself rarely trade reversals unless I see a prominent level on the upper time frame. Okay, this is basically telling us that it's time to short as prices are rocketing to the upside. This is when we have to face our trading fears. It's not easy to just take a short as prices are going against you, okay? And with the SAR, it tells us to wait, okay? It tells us the when we should go into a short. If I had used a trend line, I would have gotten short here, okay? Because this is essentially a fake move to the upside, goes up briefly, and quickly goes down, okay? Once it closes below this line, it's trigger for a short. And if you had waited for the SAR, it would have gotten you a short around here. So as you guys can already see, using the SAR at the right time with your analysis can give you an edge in the markets. Okay, it gives you the trigger that you need to see, because our mind is always playing tricks with us, and sometimes as discretionary traders we need something more solid, something more objective, without any second guessing to tell us what to do. Okay, and I can tell you guys that the SAR has done just that for me. Now with that being said, I've actually programmed my own SAR EA. It's meant to be used as a semi-automated EA. It's not meant to replace the trader. You still need to know how to analyze your charts and when to let the EA take the trade for you, execute it for you, so you could walk away from the chart, and when you come back, you're already in a short. Okay, the execution is triggered by the EA, but you're still commanding the EA on what to do. So this is the strategy tester. It's meant for back testing purposes. And as you pull the EA, it comes with these settings here. And I'm going to walk you through, guys, and explain to you what they are and how you can use them. So the first thing you do is to decide whether you should be looking for buys or sell. And a signal entry for a buy would mean that as prices are in a downtrend, the moment it hits one of these dots, it's going to take you into a long trade. That's what a signal entry for a buy means. And it's the opposite for a sell. If it's an uptrend, the moment price hits one of these lower dots, it's going to take you into a sell right away. Okay? The stop loss bars are the last few bars, the last 10 bars of the market entry. It's going to find the highest point for sell, which is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So the highest point of the last 10 bars. This is what it means. Okay. And the opposite is true for this buy here. If you had gone to buy here, your stop loss would probably be below this point. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, exactly. Right below here. Okay, you could change the numbers to 15, let's say, then it would count the last 15 bars from this point and find the lowest point. Okay, so remember the lowest point for buys and the highest point for sells. That's for the signal entry. For immediate entry, I've made a feature where if you want to just participate immediately in the market, guys, okay, let's say you're at this point of the chart here and you're thinking to yourself, I just want to get into a long right now for whatever reason. All you need to do is set it to a buy or sell and change this to true, and it's gonna enter into the market immediately without any signals. Okay, it's still going to calculate your stop loss point. Okay, and your risk here, 0.1 means 1%. Okay, it's going to calculate where the entry is and where the stop loss is. It's going to enter a lot size so that if you lose, you will lose 1% of your account balance. Okay, this is what the risk per trade is. I don't recommend you going more than 2% per trade. It can be too aggressive. Okay, and the TP multiple is able to calculate the distance between your entry and your stop loss and multiply it by 2 to set your TP somewhere up here. Okay, essentially for a 2-hour trade. Okay, that's what the immediate entry is. And let's take a look at an example where I could show you pullback entry. Okay, let's say you're trying to get into a short here and you're waiting for the signal to tell you to go short. Pullback entry is entering at a pullback and at a discount. That's the mindset of the people who are trying to enter at a pullback. Okay, so let's say this tells you to go short here. You want to take it, but you want to wait for discount. Okay, I have the 38.2, 50, and 61.8 level. So what it does, it's going to place a sell limit. Okay, as soon as price touches this sell, this dot here, it tells you to go into a sell, but instead of selling immediately, it's going to place a sell limit, either the 38.2, the 50, or 61.8, according to what you have set here. Okay, and the sell limit will remain in place for the next 12 bars. Okay, and after 12 bars have passed, it's going to just delete itself. So those are the 3 entry features. Let's talk about the magic number here. So for every trade placed by an EA it's going to be accompanied by a magic number. There can only be one trade per magic number at any one time. That's how I've set this EA to be. So if you wish to pull the EA on a second chart, you need to change this to whatever number. Okay? There cannot be two EAs with magic number 1. The second one will not execute. You can change this to 2, 23, or just 3. Doesn't matter. Okay? It has to be different. And that's pretty much it. Let's jump into the strategy tester here, and I'll show you some of the features here. Okay, so let's just go for a signal entry buy. If you don't set the pullback entry to true, then these levels wouldn't be in play anyway. Okay, don't worry about them. If you set this to true, then you gotta change this to false. Okay, there can only be one mode at one time. So let's check out the signal entry for buys. Risk per trade 0.02, magic number 1, TP multiple 3. Okay, so we're in an uptrend. On the left side here, you can see that we're looking for buy. Signal entry is set to true, the rest to false. So we need to see, okay, this dot up here. So we're in a downtrend and we're waiting to go up. Once price hits top dot, we'll get into a long. There you go. Okay. We're long here. Stop loss placed below the last 10 bars low. And this is 3 to 1. Okay, about 50, 150. This is a signal. This is a buy for a signal entry mode. I'm going to skip the immediate entry. I'm just going to show you guys the pullback entry. Let's do it for a sell this time. Let's do the 50. Set this to 2. Now we're looking for sells. There you go. Okay. Once sell trigger hits here, is triggered, it's 50% between the stop loss and the original entry price. We're waiting for a discount. We're essentially saying if it goes up by 50%, then we'll get a better entry. That's where we want to participate. And this is also set at 3 to 1. No, 2 to 1, sorry. It's a TP multiple 2. Okay, it's not triggered. So I don't consider it to be valid anymore. Another one. We've placed a sell limit at 50% retracement. Turns out to be a loss. Okay. So thanks for watching this video, guys. If you feel that this EA can be of any use to help you in your trading, please visit the link on my website. It's stated on the description part below. It's gonna lead you to an article about the SAR if you need more info on how to use it and understand the features which I've mentioned. But just in case I've missed anything, it's in an article in my website. So you can visit the link below and get your EA for free. At this time, it's only available for MT4. I haven't made a version for MT5 yet. which I believe is what most people are using anyway. Okay, I'm going to end this video right here. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy trading and good luck always.
Yeah.